Good morning, everyone. My name is Keishana Lampkins. I am a rising senior biology major at Bowie State University.
My name is Clifford Strick, and I'm a senior at UDC.
My name is Prashant. I'm a psychology major at UDC.
My name is Shanza Khan. I'm a senior economics major at Howard University.
And today we are going to talk to you about the effective methods of disaster messaging. And we just have one simple question for you. Are you keeping up or are you catching up? So let's get into disaster messaging. Disaster messaging is a system organized for supporting 1 to 2-way communications of emergency information. It consists of broadcast live, up-to-the-minute information in buildings, campuses, and facilities. And just a fun fact, some people find disaster messaging more important than food and water.
Okay. Our mission is to create effective disaster messages to put out to the public or to create caution. For our hypothesis, we believe that texting on mobile phones is the most effective means of communication during a disaster, and thus may play a major role in disaster messaging. We came up with a scenario. Our scenario is that there was a KKK activist who was the sole ketchup distributor for the BWI airport. This activist became radicalized and decided to inject Ebola-infected blood into ketchup. On May 6, 2016, there were 3 people found dead. 2 of them were found dead in Florida and 1 in California. Each of the individuals that were found dead had flown from the BWI airport. Each of the individuals had purchased food from the airport which contained ketchup. We believe that this is an agricultural terrorist attack.
Okay, so we came up with 2 net logo models. Our first net logo model is between person to person. And for information to get around between person to person, it would take 133 ticks. And a tick is just equal to a minute. And for our second net logo model, we came up with messaging to messaging. And it took 33 ticks, which is again a minute.
Okay, as you can see, our results support our hypothesis. For the person to person model, and within 20 ticks, only 19 people have received the message. If you compare that to the text messaging model, within 20 ticks, 400 people have received the message. On average, for the person-to-person, only 4.2 people receive a message per tick. And that is much for the text messaging, almost 14 people receive the messages per tick.
So in our methodology, we utilize relevant case studies and compiled databases in order to better understand disaster messaging and the different forms of communication that entails. Our qualitative research helped us to understand whether texting is the most effective form of communication in the event of a disaster. In our first case study, texting more effective in a disaster than Baker, texting is already acknowledged as the most effective and reliable form of communication in the event of a disaster. In nearly every single case, texting works even when cell phone calls and mobile towers are down, even when voice calls are impossible. Leave Ignite is even working on the IDOG, which stands for the Intelligent Distributed Augmented Wireless Gateway. And that can share SMS messages, photos, voice, and data operating on any device, even when cell towers are down, thus making it even more reliable than text messaging already was. In our second case study conducted by Lund examined whether the provision of medical care in the case of events with high levels of ambient noise presented any communication challenges. So 10 standard commercially available handheld phones were provided to healthcare providers as a supplement to the 2-way radio communication that they already had. 68.4% of the 155 healthcare providers responded that they occasionally or frequently found it difficult to clearly understand voice communication via the 2-way radio that they usually used. Similarly, 23 dispatchers responded that 65.2% of the responses indicated that they occasionally or frequently high levels of ambient noise negatively affected their ability to communicate with their members. And 86.3% agreed or strongly agreed that text-based communication improved the ability to understand when compared to radio communication alone.
And case study number 3. No matter if you're from DC, California, South Africa, or West Africa, there are different dialects that people have. So the best way to get to everybody during a disaster is to send picture mail. So the CDC in 2016 released Every Message Counts, which shows, which gives the receiver picture mail instead of text mail to help with different different dialects. So everyone's on the same page. Picture mail is the best form of communication to alleviate any confusion with the message. In our results, we found out that text messaging is the best form of communication. The iDog, regardless if cell phone towers are down, they're still able to send out SMS messaging, picture mail, and everything. And again, picture mail is the best way to alleviate any miscommunication during a disaster.
So in our conclusion, Baker's findings demonstrated that texting is the most reliable feature in disaster messaging, and that should play a major role in disaster communication. Lee McKnight has even making technological innovations with text messaging technology by creating the iDog. Lund's findings demonstrated that in order to successfully execute disaster responses, we need to engage in text-based communication rather than relying on radio alone. And in making every message count, text messaging is more effective in overcoming the language barrier that exists in so many communities rather than voice calls and radio communication alone.
These are our references, and thank you so much.